Hello there. So this is part 3 of my tutorial series for beginner card readers, and in this episode we are going to take a look at how the cards interact with each other and how you can work with certain tarot combinations. Before I begin, I would like to recommend a very, very good site called learntarot.com. It's excellent if you're a beginning card reader. All the meanings of the cards are listed on there. And not only that, but there are some tarot card combinations there too. Well, obviously, there are countless combinations in the tarot, so not all of them are listed on there. But still, the site gives you some very good ideas on how to interpret certain cards that come into contact with each other. And in this video, I'm going to give you a general idea on how you can do this. Well, as I've mentioned in my previous video, each card has a meaning of its own, which can be modified or strengthened or accentuated by the cards that surround them. So when you do a reading, it's important to look at the entire reading as a whole and do not only try to look at the individual meanings of the cards, but try to see them in connection with each other. Try to interpret the whole reading as a story where each element is connected. So it's not enough with tarot to just memorize the meanings for each card, and when you do a reading, just to repeat those meanings. It's important that you have a live connection, a genuine feeling of each card, and try not to look at them as if they were just images with arbitrary meanings attributed to them. Try to see them as living entities that have a life of their own, because that's closer to the truth, and then your readings will become more sensitive and more helpful. So, but there are, of course, a few guidelines that you can use when you're looking at the tarot card combinations. For example, the tarot is divided into major arcana and minor arcana cards. And usually the major arcana cards, for example, the star is a major arcana card. So these major arcana cards represent important life changes, and they are usually for more serious and more profound experiences. And they, there are some people who only use the major arcana and they don't use the minor arcana in their readings. For example, Alejandro Jodorowsky, who is a great film director, artist, and tarot reader, he only uses the major arcana for his readings. And that's also possible. So some people say that everything, the whole spectrum of the human experience is contained in the major arcana. But I don't necessarily agree with that, because there's a reason why the minor arcana is also included. And sometimes there are more mundane and more practical things in our lives that we wish to get some answers to. And so I think the minor arcana is just as important. But getting back to the topic of card combinations, it's usually a sign that there is something very deeply significant going on when you get a lot of major arcana cards in a reading, and you should try to connect the major arcana cards in a reading. And some people do this by understanding the major arcana as as a pathway, as a journey, sometimes called the journey of the Fool, because the Fool is the first card in the line of 22 cards that make up the major arcana. So it's possible to look at it as different stages of a spiritual journey, of a journey of ascending to all the way throughout the major arcana until the last card, which is the world, the universe. And that's dissolving back into the oneness, the unity of the universe. So it's possible to look at the major arcana cards as if they were steps on this journey. And when you get them in a reading, you can sort of do this ranking where you compare the positions of each card on this journey, on this ladder. That's one way to do it. Or you can just really feel free to go along with your intuition and try to feel out what they represent when they get close to each other. I'm going to give you an example of how this could be done. I'm going to pick 2 cards at random soon to show you how the cards can interact with each other. But I wanted to say something else first. What was it? Oh yeah. So when you get major and minor arcana cards in a reading, you should consider the major arcana cards as a group. Of course, they also interact with the minor arcana cards, and certain minor arcana cards are considered the minor octanes of certain major arcana cards. For example, the 2 of Cups is connected to the Lover's card, which is a minor arcana card. Or the 2 of Swords is often paired with the High Priestess. And there are many more connections like these, and it's very important that you try to find your own connections. If you feel that certain minor arcana and major arcana cards have a similar resonance, and you find that in your practice they when they show up together, they reinforce each other in a way, and that's totally fine. You will probably find many people making such connections, and you can appropriate their ideas, but you can also find your own connections. As for the minor arcana cards, the minor arcana is divided into 4 suits, and each suit represents or is associated with an astrological element. So, for example, the Swords suit is related to air, the astrological element of air. The Cups suit is associated with water. The Wands are associated with fire, and the Pentacles suit are connected to the element of earth. And when you do a reading, you should always keep this in mind, that these suits can interact with each other in a very similar way as with astrology. So for example, if you get Swords and Wands, they usually create a very high energy, a call for action, because the fire element the air feeds into the fire element, and they support each other in a way that that is positive and joyful in many cases. The sword suit can often be kind of cruel and harsh, but if it gets associated with the one's suit, its meaning might be a little less threatening and more productive. As with water and earth, for example, it might, in some cases, create a melancholia and a sort of stagnant state, where things don't seem to progress that much, but it also can be very grounding for water, which is emotional and is prone to mood swings. The whole cup suit is full of emotional ups and downs. So earth can be a grounding energy in that case, and water can make earth a little less dry, a little less strict and serious, and can make it more meaningful. So that's one of the few ideas that you might try. But as always, I would like to emphasize again that it's very important to have your own connections. So now I'm gonna shuffle the cards a little bit and pick 2 cards at random and show you how you can do this in your own practice. Okay, so now we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. And so now that these 2 cards are in the same suit, it's quite obvious that they reinforce each other. They strengthen each other's energy. And court cards which are an entirely different category, and I forgot to tell you about it. Well, maybe I will in another video. But the point is that they also have a system with the page, the knight, the queen, and the king, which can also be interpreted as a ranking system. But you can, if you don't like this sort of analytical approach, then you might just approach it as as any other card, as an entity. And with court cards, it's especially easy because they are human-like figures. So what we have here is the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles, as all aces are, represents opportunity. It's like a portal, and in my experience, many people like to interpret it as a gift from the universe, as a tangible, actual material opportunity or a chance to make some improvements. And they stop there and they interpret this as an entirely positive card. But in my experience, it's just that, an opportunity, a chance, and in many cases it can be unrealized potential. There is something there. There is a chance to reach something. There is a chance to make things grow, but it depends on whether the seed falls onto fertile ground or not. And with this particular card combination, I would say that there is a very good chance that a material plan is going to work out, because the Queen of Pentacles is a very practical, very pragmatic, very generous entity. And when she gets the chance to bring something new into the world, to create some changes, she's gonna get it done. And as I said, it all depends on the context, because in certain context, this queen could be making things difficult, or it could be slowing things down. But now that these two are together, it seems to all work out. Let's try another one very quick, another combination. Now we have the Three of Swords, which is a minor arcana card, and the Death card, a major arcana card. So this is what I was talking about. The Three of Swords represents a situation where somebody gets hurt by their own negative beliefs and their lack of confidence or their lack of faith. And it might, in some cases, it might just be a minor annoyance, something that doesn't really influence the major flow of life. But when you have the Death card along with it, it tells you that there is a serious, profound transformation coming through this pain. So whatever happens, which in many cases with the Three of Swords, it's a disappointment of some kind with others or with yourself. Whatever happens, It happens for this very good reason to transform you into a new person. So in this case, you should not ignore the signs of feeling negative and depressed and feeling less secure, because it's a warning sign and it's an important message about who you are, and you should use it to change your life profoundly. So, this is my video. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And see you again soon.